She looked at him with her spooky eyes, but when he didn't care it, sliding her hand in her pocket, she took the gun out, pointing it on that man, making his eyes wide and feet tremble in fear. A dead figure was laying on the ground as she called her man to fix this mess, and drifting the car went away from there. An unknown fear was rising in her. She was praying for him to be safe at any cost. With her trembling hand, she called her man, but out of the blue, the phone dropped from her hand as a painful groan left her mouth. She winced in extreme pain while holding her head. She started hitting her head hardly to stop that pain, but it didn't work. Her body fell on the ground due to her blurry vision. After some painful minutes, she exhaled deeply and tried to stand up. Looking as fragile as ever, he was crying his heart out, feeling extremely miserable. When there was no one to embrace him, he himself embraced his knees, hiding his face. Cold breeze was making him shiver, but not so soon he felt warmness all around. He was startled at first, but slowly opening his numb eyes, he saw her embracing him. That made him cry more. His sobs didn't stop as she slowly backed off and held his face in her hands to make him look at her. His eyes were shining but held so much pain in them that made her kiss his red puffed eyes lovingly. There he was, sitting on the bed, while looking down whole time. She was gazing at him, waiting for him to speak, but gave up as nothing came out of his mouth. Making her way towards him, she stood in front of him. He still didn't react it, so she cupped his face, making him look at her with his teary doe eyes. That made her heart pinched in pain. Slightly rubbing her thumb on his cheek, she said, She nodded and kissed his forehead, telling him it's all fine. He kept looking at her, making her smile. Wiping his tears, she placed a soft kiss on the top of his nose. There she went silent, didn't know what to do. She looked at him with a fake smile and patted his head softly. After having their dinner, they both were laying on the bed, distant from each other. She closed her eyes, embracing him back. No one was willing to leave each other. That's how the night went, both sleeping in each other's arms, feeling the warmth of love. That man was crying while shouting at the doctor, as she was looking at him with a tired face. But there were a million of emotions hiding in her heart. Her face was hard to read. She was trying to hide her pain, her sadness, but nonetheless tears filled her eyes when she saw him crying hard. Not able to speak a word, he nodded frequently, looking down. She smiled a little and looked at the doctor. She tried her best to not let her tears out, but failed badly. Saying those two words, she left, having a pretty smile on her face. He was looking at the bright starry sky, having his pretty boxy smile, until he felt two soft hands embracing his waist from behind, making him shy, as he already knew the owner of those hands. Backing off slowly, she made him turn and without saying anything, just kept looking at him with a bright smile on her lips. He was looking in her eyes nervously as she was making his heart beat uneven. Though he felt loving, but still somehow confused by the way she was talking. After that, she made him sit with her on the mattress and softly engulfed his hand with her, making him feel warm. He was not able to understand her. He wanted to figure out what she's going through, but seeing that beautiful smile on her lips, he forgot everything and stuck his eyes there only. Staring at him, she cupped his face softly and kissed his head. Not so soon, she squeezed her eyes, feeling extreme pain in her head, but tried her best to not show her pain to him. Both sat beside each other as he tried to say something but saw her gazing at the bright sky. He looked down, smiling constantly. He stared at her with a smile as he thought she's asleep, but there she was, taking the last breath of her life. And there she lost herself, her head laying on his shoulder. Her heart stopped as her soul was leaving the world, but that poor soul was unknown to that fact. He was all red, but turned his head to look at her and chuckled before.
Anyone you say,